Okay, welcome back and welcome to our webinar today, The Need of Mobile Archiving, presentation of our product line for mobile archiving. My name is Thomas Stegemann. I'm responsible for the technical sales section at GWAVA EMEA. You will find my details at the end of the presentation. So now let's start, and we've got a lot of excellent information for you about archiving mobile devices and how you can do that effectively with GWAVA Retain. So now it's perfect. So for more than a decade, GWAVA remains unsurpassed at providing and protecting messaging infrastructures with superior unified archiving and critical messaging security. We have offices all over the world in Canada, in the USA, in Germany and UK, and recently we have launched a new one in India. We support you 24/7 with our partners, with our support, and all we can do for you. With our strategic alliances, partners like BlackBerry, Verizon, and Celltrust, you can be assured that the solution GWAVA provides meets the needs of your organization now or even in the future. These solutions span from Microsoft Exchange, Office 365, Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, Android, BlackBerry and iOS devices. So today we will be discussing the increase in mobile usage, the consequences of mobile device usage within companies, the need for archiving, and the solution that GWAVA provides. So let's get started. Mobile device usage is growing exponentially. There is a tremendous amount of data being produced every minute. Let's talk about this growth and where it's coming from. Average smartphone usage growth was 81% in 2012. In 2012, the number of mobile connected tablets grew to 36 million devices, and each tablet generates 2.4 times more traffic than an average smartphone. The Android data level are now higher than iPhone data levels in use. Global mobile data traffic grew 70% in 2012. That is really a big number. And by the end of 2013, which is already about 1 year ago, the number of mobile connected devices will exceed the number of people on Earth. So it is important that we have an answer for that in the future, how we can archive devices and messages from these devices. Texting, especially texting, generates a huge amount of mobile communication data that must be accounted for. Texting has become the mainstay communications method for millions of users throughout the world. If you think about how much you yourself text and how much your kids text, you won't be surprised to learn that in 2011, 7.8 trillion texts were sent worldwide. That is 247,172 messages per second. That's a huge amount of data which we produce every second, every minute. And you see here a trend of the global smartphone sales from 2009 to 2016. The sales have skyrocketed over the past few years. All signs show that it will continue to grow for the foreseeable future. Android is a big player in the market. It continues to grow and is the largest smartphone OS in the market. BlackBerry as well is a widely used option for corporate environments, and they have a new offering in BlackBerry 10 and soon with BlackBerry Enterprise Server 12. And of course, the Apple iPhone continues to be a dominant smartphone all over. This continuing wave of smartphone usage will have a large impact on your organization. The reality is that employees use their own devices at work. If you are in a regulated corporate business, then probably you will provide them with devices, but what we see, what we hear, and what the analysts say is that bring your own device trend is going on and creates security and archiving challenges within companies and organizations. 71% of businesses said that devices cause an increase in security incidents, and 51% of organizations have experienced data loss from employee use of unsecured mobile devices. The potential for employees to misuse and abuse these devices and your network are the realities of today's workplace. How are you going to deal with this? What technologies and policies do you have in place to combat these threats? Let's go into more detail on why problems increase as employees bring their own devices. Data leaking out of your organization is one of the risks you run when mobile devices are in use. Confidential documents and other information should stay within the company. However, they don't when employees transfer data outside organizations' boundaries using mobile devices such as smartphones, tablets, notebooks, and social media such as Twitter and Facebook. Mobile devices are increasingly becoming a key security risk for enterprises as employees use their devices to access sensitive company information. A recent survey from a university found that most employees are not thinking enough about protecting corporate data when using these devices. Here are a few more findings from the survey. 1 in 3 employees kept sensitive work-related information on their mobile devices. 2/3 of employees were not aware of their organization's policies, even though 95% of the companies have mobile security policies in place to protect enterprise data. Most of the companies reported that their employees do not understand how permissions and other access settings work on their mobile devices. 63% of work-issued mobile devices were being used by employees for personal activities. So what does this mean for your organization? Are you losing data because of your employees' smartphone usage? Hopefully not. But mobile blurs the line between work and personal life. As I just said, it is commonplace for an employee to use the same device for both personal and corporate use. This mixed usage can present challenges as organizations become overwhelmed by data. It helps to reinforce the employees should not share sensitive or confidential information, participate in inappropriate, harmful, or harassing communications. By putting policies in place and by using solutions that fully archive mobile communications, the organization can be protected. You will be able to keep a record of what is happening day to day, and you can prove to the courts or auditors that your employees are complying with the communication policies. Look, your employees are texting, and the courts are increasingly asking for those texts to be produced. And with an archive, you can act appropriately and show that your employees acted appropriately if their need arises. This gives your organization protection in case of litigation or if a question arises about what is being communicated in your organization. There are so many laws and regulations out that there when it comes to archiving mobile communication. Here are some examples of the regulations that apply to you. Maybe not all in Germany, not all in the UK, not all over EMEA, but there are some which affect even you. There are some from Germany like GDPDU. There are some which maybe attach you if you do business with the US. That's the SOX. Or even Euro-SOX maybe affect you. So there are a lot of regulations which don't say only archive email, but archive digital communication. And this digital communication can also be mobile text messages or phone logs. So everything which can help. In fact, there is a legal case to prove what was done by your organization. So, what's the solution? The solution is to establish workable policies, effectively archive all of your company's mobile communications, and have quick and easy access to all archived data to ensure oversight of mobile communication. Mobile devices are here to stay. The benefit of mobile device usage outweigh the risks. However, organizations must implement policies to mitigate the risks. Policies must outline what is and is not appropriate usage of mobile devices. Policies must be clear and employees must be trained on them. By implementing an effective policy, an organization is on its way to being protected from mobile device misuse. But policies alone is not enough. There needs to be technology in place to validate policies. Archiving mobile communication will validate your policy. It does not stop people from doing something that is inappropriate or against that policy. However, with mobile communications archiving, you can reinforce your policy. By archiving and letting your employees know that you are archiving, you can find misuse. They will know that they can be caught because the archives is there. Employees can rest assured that as they follow policies, a record exists documenting their correct actions. This protects the employees and your organization. So to summarize, we have talked about mobile growth, mobile usage, regulatory compliance, policies, and protection. So how do you get your organization in compliance with mobile communication data requirements? GWAVA has a solution. GWAVA Retain provides you the ability to archive all communications. Email, mobile and social is one central location. This archived data is easily accessed through the Retain Web Access Archive Viewer. Additionally, search, publish, and e-discovery of the archive can be easily achieved from the central Retain archive. This is why it is called the Unified Archive. Retain archives single or mixed messaging platform and archives all emails, social media, and mobile communication. With the latest release, Retain 3.5, which will be out in mid to end December this year, we will add iOS mobile device archiving as well as a lot more than only Facebook and Twitter archiving. You just see that we now can archive LinkedIn, Jammer, Google Talk, Microsoft Lync, which is now called Microsoft Skype for Business, Yahoo Messenger, AOL Messenger, and even more. So with Retain, you are in full compliance with communication regulations and you are protected from the risks associated with using electronic communications such as email, social media, and mobile communication in particular. So now let's just look at the mobile part and what we can do there. So we archive iOS devices, so we can archive from iOS devices with our partner CellTrust. We can archive Android devices and we can archive BlackBerry devices. So what type of messages do we archive from these devices? We can securely archive SMS and MMS messages, phone call logs, and secure communication for Android and iOS, as well as BlackBerry Messenger for BlackBerry and even the PIN messages. Retain ensures that you are protected from evolving challenges that mobile devices have created. For example, for iOS, we are the only one which can, together with our partner CellTrust, deliver a direct archiving solution for the secure communication with CellTrust. A little bit more in a later stage of this webinar when we look at the technology and how that works. So now we will look at every single platform and how it is used and how we can archive that. So BlackBerry devices, if you use a BlackBerry enterprise server, all communication is audited on the BlackBerry enterprise server. Can be, because you need a code license on a BlackBerry enterprise server so that it is stored. Then Retain captures the log files from the BlackBerry enterprise server, extracts the SMS, MMS, phone messages, BBM, and PIN messages, and archives them in our store. The user then can access, and we will have a look at the front end for the user later. So how does it look for Android? For Android it is a little bit different. We need to roll out an app on the Android devices. This app captures all SMS, MMS, and phone logs directly on the device. and send them to a retained message router. With one of the releases this year, we now introduced a message router for on-premise use. Before we only had a router in the GWAVA cloud, where you got your own tenant ID and then everything was routed through our system. But we knew that a lot of companies want to have their data in their own environment. So we introduced a message router, and now it is possible that you have it on-premise in your organization. Then Retain again gets the data from the message router and stores it and presents it to the user. The big difference between Retain for Android and Retain for BlackBerry and Retain for iOS is that with iOS it is not that easy. With iOS we need an application which can get your SMS, voice messages and everything else and archives that directly on the Retain server. The problem is that iOS devices don't have the ability with an API to get the messages directly on the phone. Competitors in the market do it that you have to plug in your iPhone to your computer, do a backup, and then they run a bash script on this backup to get SMS, MMS, and phone logs out of the backup. That's not a real archiving solution. With Retain and CellTrust Secure Line, you will have a second or an app on your device which has the ability to send SMS messages, secure SMS messages between other users on your CellTrust server, and you will get a new phone number from the CellTrust server for your business-related data. So whenever you talk to another user in the company on an iOS device, you use the CellTrust number. Whenever you talk to another device outside, you will also use the CellTrust, but it will connect you through the CellTrust server to the other users which are not subscribers on the CellTrust device. And you have the ability to use the phone and the phone number which you have from your mobile, from your cell phone provider. You can use that for private use. So yes, there is the ability to use the second phone number, but there must be a policy in place that every work-related data has to go through the CellTrust server. And then Retain is archiving directly from the CellTrust server, and you see we archive SMS and voice as well. So that's how it works with iOS devices. So now let's have a look at the Retain web interface, and you see that for this device you have SMS, MMS, phone calls, the BBM pin, and BlackBerry messages directly in one overview, and you can see all the messages which flew through the BlackBerry system. It is the same for BlackBerry, for iOS or Android, even though currently only BlackBerry pin and BlackBerry messages are supported by BlackBerry, right? So you see your SMS, you see MMS messages, you see the phone call logs, and you can even search for them. So you can say, okay, I want to search for SMS, MMS, phone call, BBM pin, and BBM messages. Or even if you have rights to your emails and the BlackBerry messages, you can see them in one screen directly, and you have a good overview what is happening with one mobile number plus whatever an email address also from one of your customers. So now after we had a quick look at the web interface and how it looks like, we will have a short look at examples of companies that have found success using Retain and the mobile archiving. So the University of Detroit Mercy uses Retain mobile archiving for BlackBerry and iOS. And also another one is the Polk County, Florida. They use Retain mobile archiving as well. And one interesting, which I find, is the NCAA, which is the National Association of College Sports. They banned text messages all over their platform because teachers are not allowed to text their students if you cannot be sure what's going on, just to reduce problems there. And they implemented as well Retain mobile to be assured that they can keep every data which is flowing between the students and the teachers. So let's summarize. Retain is a solution that archives all forms of messaging communication. Without Retain, you could choose to invest in another separate solution that handles email archiving only. Plus, you could spend on a single solution that handles social media data and even mobile data. You could spend on 3 separate solutions with 3 separate vendors, but why? Instead, for the price of Retain, you can do your email archiving today, your mobile communication archiving tomorrow, and your social media archiving as soon as you have policies in place and you need to do that. So you get 3 world-class archiving solutions in one product. Your investment in Retain has you covered. Retain gives you the broadest solution that helps ensure that you are ready for litigation, regulatory investigations, and the other risks associated with electronic communication. Get started today. If you are not currently using Retain, please contact us and we will get you started today. Or go ahead and try it out for yourself with our 30 days free trial. Visit us on GWAVA.eu and we will contact you for a download, for a direct demo, or if you need help in setting up a demo environment. So now I'd like to thank you for your time. You see my credentials here, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate and contact me. Send me an email, call me, or call one of my colleagues in our house. Thank you very much for your time, and if you have questions, now is the time to ask them or send me a message.